Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Please excuse the lack of editing in this video. So as you can see, the topic of this week's video is Rasmus Hojlund, and basically I think the vast majority of critics, the vast majority of people saying this guy is complete trash, he is not a good footballer, I think they're wrong. I think what happened to this guy was just being put in a high stress situation. Lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, maybe even, and just a reflection of that is, shown on the pitch, right? I'm sure you can relate. Everybody has struggled with that in one point or another, or most people, right? Just self-esteem, confidence issues, and that can really mess you up, right? That can really affect the way you operate on a day-to-day and the way you feel, right? And if you're not feeling good, you're not, your football is going to show. Is going to show that. So I think deep down, this guy is a good player, and I think he's going to show it at Napoli. Like I said, it was just a bad recipe from the get-go. I mean, players going to Manchester United nowadays, it seems like it's a 50-50 coin toss to see whether they're going to do well or not. Most often than not, they end up completely flopping. I don't know what it is about that club, but there just seems to be something surrounding that club that makes it that happen way too often, right? Not to mention their poor transfer strategy as of late, right? It seems like they got their stuff together this transfer market, or at least they did a little better than what they are used to, But like I said, I think this guy is a talented footballer. Let's not forget that in his first season, I think he was in the double digits when it came to overall goals, right? And he was in the double digits, right? And goals scored for the season. So he did pretty good in his first season. And I remember there was this game early on. It must have been in his first dozen games where he got the ball on the left-hand side. He controlled it. He took a touch. He beat a defender with pure pace, and he absolutely smashed it onto the top left of the goal. I can't remember which goal it was against, but it was early on in his Manchester United career, right? And that's when I knew the guy, was good, because it takes skill to be able to do that. It kind of reminded me of Haaland's play style, right? The way he just controlled the ball, beat a defender with pace, and then just absolutely smashes the ball. So I think he's going to show his worth at Napoli. I think it's going to be a completely different story for him at Napoli. Let's just take the example from McTominay, right? The guy literally went from day to night when it came to his career. He was struggling at Manchester. He was kind of this average Premier League player that showed instances of his skill, and he moves to the Serie A and absolutely kills it, right? So, like I said, something similar. I have a feeling that Hojlund is going to go through that, go through something similar and do a very good job at his new club, right, at Napoli. So, not to say that, his criticism hasn't been warranted. In a lot of cases it has, because he's been very poor this past year and a half, right? But I think it's a bit over the top, which is understandable because of the club he's in. But like I said, it was just a formula doomed to fail from the start. Young up-and-coming striker with very little game time under his belt, coming in to be the starting number 9 for one of the biggest clubs in the world. You can imagine the pressure, on his shoulders, and not to mention the lack of, quality around him wasn't going to help him. So, it wasn't looking good from the start. But like I said, I think this guy is a good footballer, and I do have a feeling that things are going to change for him, in the Serie A.